Welcome back to the Simple Driver channel. My name is Calvin, and in this video, we're going to talk about Lyft and Uber driver strikes and why they aren't currently working. Now, I know it's a touchy situation because normally when you get to the position or the point to where you feel you need to strike, something serious is going on. And that's normally based around something like, racial tension or wages. And in this case, in the rideshare industry, it's 100% wages. Drivers feel like they aren't getting paid enough money. So in this video, I'm not just going to give you reasons why it's not working, what's broken. I'm actually going to arm you with information so that if you feel like you need to partake in a strike in the future, you'll be in a better position. So with that being said, let's get into the reasons. Number one, short-term effect. Okay, so I have my Evernote here. And the last strike that was put together, it was done in, let me just make sure, Los Angeles, San Diego, Chicago, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and right here in Atlanta. But the problem with that is the strike was only 24 hours and that's 6 cities. So Uber operates in 700 cities globally, right? Which means that if you're striking in, let's just even say it was 7 cities, that represents 1% of where Uber is actively doing business, which means that a 24-hour period and 1%, that the numbers are small. You're talking about a company that did over $11 billion in 2018. So trying to affect their bottom line with 1% penetration is just small. It's not going to do enough damage. And on top of that, it's not really even 1% because, to be honest with you, it's a couple hundred or maybe even a couple thousand drivers, but it's not every single driver in those cities. So it's not even 1%, it's more like 1/4%. So it just doesn't work. The short-term effect is small. Number two is replacement. How replaceable are the drivers? Because if they are easily replaced, then it means that your bargaining power is very low. And unfortunately, drivers are very replaceable. There's always someone signing up to earn additional income on the Uber platform, which means you have no bargaining power because you don't hold a covenant enough position. And let me explain to you what I mean. If we were to look at this like a chessboard and we were to assign pieces to everyone who's operating and dealing with the Uber business model, understand that drivers are pawns, okay? Let me explain to you who the bishops and the knights and the rooks are. It's the people that are inside of the actual internal workings of Uber, technicians, customer service people, management teams. If those people go on a strike, it will tremendously affect Uber's bottom line because it's a tech company and you have to have people running the tech and the computers and answering phones and doing all that stuff. So you can understand they have more bargaining power than the actual driver who is easily replaced. Number three, public and government support. In order to effectively have a strike, be really, really good inside of a city, you need, government type of assistance. And when I say government, I mean like city officials and, maybe the mayor or somebody like that actually to stand with you. And you need the public to rally with you. That's not going to happen because unfortunately, to be honest with you, this is kind of an internal battle. This is independent contractors, driver partners, and Uber themselves, doing this. No one else really cares. And I know that the city officials and stuff like that really don't care and won't stand with you and hold signs and picket signs and all that stuff with you because they're making money. Remember, Uber cannot operate inside of the cities they operate in without getting laws passed, without rules and regulations and paying for insurance and, licenses and fees at the airports and stuff like that. The city is not going to give that money up, which means they're not going to stand with you on this very small issue, which is going to be a problem. All right, number four is, can you get riders to join the strike? And that's not going to happen because the simple fact is riders only care about getting from point A to point B fast, safe, okay, and as cheap as possible. And that means that they will use all of the different type of offerings that Uber gives, which is Uber X, Uber Select, Uber, SUV, whatever the case. They'll, if they can't get it there, they'll gladly turn on the Lyft app. Does not act like they won't, because they will. They'll walk, they'll ride the MARTA here in Atlanta, which is public transportation. They'll ride buses, trains, ride bicycles. They don't care. They just want to get to their destination, and they don't care unless something is affecting them from getting from where they are at point A to point B. They're not going to stand in a line and and hold up signs and picket or strike with you, because it's just not important to them, which means it's not going to help you out at all. It's going to weaken your position. Number 5 is real power. And I want to explain real power to you in this example. Uber drivers versus truck drivers. Understand this. As an Uber driver, you're only, transporting someone locally around the city. And if you can't do it, they have way too many other options to get to where they want to go, okay? You're not the end all be all. So you have no real power. Let me explain to you someone who does. Truck drivers. The last time I checked, every piece of electronic that you use in your home, the food that you eat, the clothes that you are wearing on your back, it all came on a truck as the final destination. Sure, it came from overseas on the water and in ships, may even been on a train or plane, but last time I checked, planes, trains, and boats don't back up to the docks at Publix, at Target or Walmart. It has to come on a truck, which means that if truck drivers get upset and they decide to strike, the economy comes to a halt. They have real power. Uber drivers, we don't have that type of power. Number 6 is surplus, which simply means, are there drivers out there willing to still drive in the current conditions? Now, I know for a fact there's plenty of drivers out there who make a ton of money on the Uber platform, but there's some who don't make as much as they want because of their location and time of day or whatever the case may be. But still, are there drivers who are still willing to drive in the current conditions? And if that is the case, and it is, again, it's not going to be effective. Think about this for a second. There are dormant drivers out there, meaning they drive part-time or they drive every blue moon. But when they hear that you're going to strike, you, hundreds of people or thousands of people, it rings a bell for them. They know that they're going to be able to make more money. There will be less drivers in that area, which means that there's going to be surges and spikes. It's just going to be a free-for-all for them. They're going to make a lot more money, which means the surplus is an issue. Lastly is number 7, the weight game. Uber is a multi-billion-dollar company, and they can afford to wait you out. And what I simply mean by that is when strikes are put together and they say, oh, it's going to be 24 hours, that is just not enough time to effectively even do anything to Uber's bottom line. As a matter of fact, because they can afford to wait you out, especially a 24-hour period, the money that you don't make while you're on strike, you'll even work harder to make up that money if you don't have a plan B, which means that if you say, hey, I'm going to partake in this for an entire day, and your goal is that you want to go out and you want to do $200 or $300 a day, well, that's $200 to $300 that you lost on a strike, which means that when you come back to the platform because you don't have another plan, you didn't have an exit plan, or you don't have a plan B, you have to work now harder, twice as hard or 3 times as hard to recover the wages. Uber has too much money. They can wait you out, which means it's not effective. So those are the 7 reasons. And I know it was hard to hear that information, but someone has to tell you that, because it is the difference between having an effective strike and an ineffective strike. A lot of people, they hear about strike and they get emotionally charged and they go out and they want to partake in it, not understanding that it could hurt them financially. That's not what I'm about. The reason that I made this channel is to help each and every person who decides to be an Uber driver partner actually be profitable. That's why I make the videos that I make. If you haven't seen them all, you probably should head over to the simpledriver.com even and go get on my email list, where I'm actually giving you additional information off of what I even give on my YouTube platform. Hopefully that this helps you guys get a better understanding of how you need to operate when it comes to partaking in a strike. It was a hard video for me to do. I wanted to actually sit on the sidelines and not say anything, but I couldn't do it. So with that being said, my name is Calvin. I'm the Simple Driver. Peace.